Greetings, here we are at the second video, and I'm not quite sure what I'm going to begin with because I'm so excited, but the good thing about what I'm saying now and everything I'm going to present at this moment is that all of it is on the website, and we've done the real work already, the paperwork. Well, actually not paperwork, but the writing. There's more paperwork to be done, but the main explanation of the cause and all of that. I started out by writing a letter to the Queen of Denmark, and I'll give you the reasons why. Because many people will be like, oh, did she write back? Did she get the letter back? It would be good if she wrote back. I'd have loved it, and I would like to know if she received the letter, if she read it. I would love to know. I have no idea. What mattered was to write the letter, and I'll tell you the reason why. It is very fundamental to the strategy. Okay. I think you noticed in the first video I talked about a period where we're going to have 48 volunteers so we can have a one-on-one handover to maintain a continuity of whatever ideas we build. Okay? Because without that, then we have to start from scratch all over again. That is the problem that I have with democracy. Is the long-term projects that are well thought out by one political party risk being pushed totally aside before they have matured and borne fruit by the subsequent party. So if I was to take our problems as Africans and as a people, I would need some continuity, and consistency in how we address the problems. And the only institution that has authority over the people that would provide that consistency and continuity would be the royal family. And that is regardless of whether I'm speaking of the African royal families, we're talking about our traditional authorities, and the Danish one. It is the exact same social contract, and it is based on that social contract that I knew that many of these problems that we're going to have to face will need that long-term continuity. What I could achieve or want to achieve, I might not achieve. I might die before my time. Well, you always die at your time, but younger than I expected. Or whatever disagreements there is between me and my brothers and sister could continue, and therefore basically there will be no basis on which to leave anything for the next generation, because maybe our children will be better at organizing and getting together. So I figured that making sure I put it in the framework of such greater continuity, then everybody stands a chance to pick at least where they can start and build something regardless of difference in opinions, which is what politics and democracy is a difference in opinions. But with an institution of the royal family, the continuity is there. We saw with the handover from the Queen to the King, there's a continuity, and that's what's very important. So to put the entire project within that framework was important. Okay, so that's why. And I highlighted different aspects of the project, including Zisakuduse and the $10 billion plan and all these things, because these are practical ideas. And I made sure to point out that the initiative to writing the letter and starting the projects comes as a response to our collective African leaders' exhortation to we as a people to meet them halfway in forging the way forward for Africa through NEPAD. So chapter 4 of the NEPAD manifesto is what I quote in the letter to the Queen. And once I've done that as the basis, it means that I'm now transposing that response to every single official document that I may write, whether it's to the Prime Minister of Jamaica, the President of the United States, Somalia, or Ethiopia, or whoever. It will constantly be a NEPAD response, a response to NEPAD within the framework of the vision of our leaders. It's very important to do these things because, we can't disregard any effort made by any of our leaders because our democracy and our freedom was hard won. So we don't get to a democratic position and a freedom position and then disregard whatever moves might be made by the leaders within that framework. Whether we love them or not, we have to step up as leaders to make sure that the agenda continues and do our part. And that's what I decided to do. And so that's the core, the basis for that letter. It's online. You can go see what the program is. The programs, like I said before, it was to create platforms for public participation, to intensify the velocity of exchange within the quantity theory of money based on land value taxation, and having one common goal, which is plant tree and clean the ocean, basically take care of the planet. And in Malawi, I could say we're very happy that we have a brother not too far from us called Luwayo Biswick, who's busy with permaculture and showing the way forward with food forests so that Malawi can now move towards food security, which is something great to boast about and to what can you say, to attract volunteers here in Denmark. Of the 24 volunteers that I want to come with, permaculture is fundamental. So we really depend on coming to Luwayo Biswick and say, here we are, we're your students, besides the renovation work at Gaesa Inn. And so we are broadening our collaboration in Malawi and actually doing the exact same thing here in Denmark. Because now my move is to basically move out into the community here, starting out with Christiania, which is or was an alternative society to the Danish society. And the value of Christiania, unfortunately, at some point went into the sale of cannabis and hashish, and that's what brought the traffic. But people have forgotten that it was the concept of Christiania that has the highest value, and that can shift billions more than what the sale of cannabis can. So it's my duty now to remind the people in Christiania of the concept that they have arrived at, that it is worthwhile. So basically exporting the concept within the framework of Mchinji. That's the step one. And the tool for that is going to be the association Big Spliff Global. So by the 5th of June, which is Denmark's Constitution Day, we should have our what do you call it, Stiftende Generalforsamling. I just said it in Danish. Our founding meeting for the association, and for the General Assembly, and then we take it from there as an association, and that'll be the tool, the organizational tool. And in 2022, this is why it's important to have written to the Queen, because I would be looking out for the Queen's New Year's speech. And the New Year's speech for when we moved in 2022, I believe. Yeah, 2022. I hope so. Was it 2023? 2022, I believe. I was overjoyed because it was during COVID and everybody was in the dark as to what was going on or whatever. But the Queen basically exhorted the Danish people to strengthen the associations' lives, to create associations. And to me, I was like, she was talking straight to me. Because it is the backbone of the Danish democracy. It is the backbone of the Danish march towards an egalitarian society, moving away from feudalism to the proletarianism and everything. And the whole thing, until you get to Kierkegaard's existentialism, until you get to Grundtvig's awakening of the people through public education. So all these things that have built Denmark are going to be the fundamental tools for building our curriculum at Gaisa Inn, so that the my father's heritage is very funny. My stepfather's heritage then becomes enshrined together with my father's heritage, who's from the royal family, Swazi family, and my mother's experience as well. So for me, building something that reflects the significance of my three parents at Gaisa Inn, that's fundamental. And obviously, standing on such a strong foundation of principles and direction attracts support from, especially we could say conservative, not in a negative way, but conservative in all positive aspects of the word. At the same time, it is strong enough to attract people who are looking for an alternative to the subjugation that they're subjected to. I don't know what kind of English this is. By market forces. You know, clear example is in Malawi. For us to function since the dictatorship, we've had to work with two serious sledgehammers against us, but which were presented to us as being beneficial for us. And the two of them put together are a dangerous cocktail, and that's why in Malawi things cannot improve until we address that. That would be multi-party democracy and the free market economy. Those two dynamics applied to a country that hasn't even found its foot and that is put together under a colonial framework and at such an economic disadvantage in such an economically marginalized continent. I don't know what people expect of us as Africans, but some of us who understand what it is about do step up to it, which is why we're planning the walk from Cape Town to Cairo. Because we can see that we are being given an impossible task of building our people. So we've got to do the impossible. Hence Cape Town to Cairo, hence all the studies that I have put into it for the last 30 years. It is absolutely necessary. It is not madness, it is not failure, it is not any of the things that people like to accuse me of. It is hard work, and it is there on the website if you want to study, and it has the underpinnings. So I mentioned some of those. I will mention the letter to the Prime Minister, which is based on the letter to the Queen. And in that letter, I do speak about when she was the leader of the Democratic Party, she jumped into the bandwagon of having a Marshall Plan for Africa, which is of course kind of like a dreamy, whatever. And you say those type of things when you're opposition. And my question is that now that you're in power, is that how you feel about Africa, the approach to Africa or not? Basically, that's my question to the Prime Minister, because now it's different realities. In any case, her support of that EU idea of creating about 20 million African jobs a year. Have you heard of any such thing? That's what they were talking about back in 2018, that they wanted to do that. And I don't think they've created any jobs, but that's what they put. So you need to know that as an African, and you need to know that you need to react to such a thing and say, well, where's the money at? Where are the jobs at? Because we're talking about 20 million jobs a year. That's what they said. Of course, it was a dream. It was criticized by the Prime Minister, one of the Prime Minister's actual school friends at the University of Copenhagen at the Africa Studies, and that was way back at that time. But subsequently, what Danida chose to do and what the Foreign Ministry chose to do has been substantiated by other writers. So her school friend was Matthias Sugo, who I quote, and then I'm going against the clock. I'm gonna have to give up. I'm under my 15 minutes. I'll continue in the next video.